Now, there were tragic scenes overnight as at least 27 migrants heading for the UK drowned as they illegally tried to cross the English Channel on overloaded, flimsy, inflatable boats. It is the largest loss of life ever in the English Channel and a further escalation of the migrant crisis between France and Britain. This year alone, 27,500 asylum seekers have arrived on the Kent shoreline in the east of England, which is 3 times higher than last year. Joining me now to discuss the ramifications of this tragedy and the rising tensions between France and the UK is the federal Liberal Senator and former General in the Australian Army, Jim Molan. Jim, so good to have you with us. These are scenes reminiscent of the Christmas Island tragedy that we saw back in 2010. And when Tony Abbott was elected 3 years later, it was really only due to his tough but effective immigration policies that we saw an end to those boats coming. Can the UK emulate Australia's policies and prevent further loss of life?
This is the real question, Rita, and it's good to be with you and with your viewers. This really is the enormous question that Europe and the United Kingdom, France, have got to come to terms with. So far, they have been appalling managers of their own borders. And when you badly manage borders, people die. And the Schengen Agreement, a complication of arrangements of borders, where certain areas are within borders and certain aren't, or the old internal borders no longer exist within Europe. So if a migrant, an illegal migrant, gets in past the first line of Schengen, they can go anywhere they like. The big issue here, though, is resolve. This is not rocket science. And people have been coming to me from the UK and from Europe for probably how long? For 5 or 6 or 7 years, asking for a solution. How did Australia do it? And the first thing I say is that, well, we had resolve. We wanted to do it in the first instance. And when you get someone like Scott Morrison and Tony Abbott, who were working together so well on this, when we were preceded by the most incompetent border management that God ever put breath into, that was the Rudd-Gillard-Rudd years, many of whom are still, Anthony Albanese was around then, and he was an arguer, being stupidly naive. He was an arguer for open borders because open borders illustrate your humanity. No, they don't. Open borders invite criminals to smuggle people in who die. And many of my mates in the Navy were out there picking these bodies up, rotting bodies in the sea between Indonesia and Australia, bodies that have been hit by sharks. This is not nice. There's just less sharks in the English Channel, I think.
And we forget those scenes. They were just horrific, particularly you look at the numbers of dead men, women, children. And yet when the coalition came to power, we had so many in the media and from the left of politics saying you can't stop the boats because these are push factors, not pull factors. So people are going to keep coming because they're fleeing for their lives. But that all proved to be rather false.
It was false. And the kind of interaction you're seeing now between France and the UK, and I caught a bit of Prime Minister Johnson on the news this evening expressing determination to do it. Well, he's had years to do it. His predecessors had years to do it. And the fact that the French police supposedly watched these people leaving was exactly the same situation that we faced with Indonesia. But it was the Indonesian president who belled the cat when he said that you've got to take Australia, you have got to take the sugar off the table. And we were doing that. In fact, that was the basis of the strategy that in the end did stop the boats, because the statement was made that if you enter this country illegally, that is, you don't come through legal channels, if you come anywhere else, you will not stay in this country. And we then used what the Rudd-Gillard-Rudd government set up, which was islands offshore. Now, there's 1,000 variations the UK could do to deter people coming to the UK. There is so much sugar on the table in the UK to attract these people that they come in via Turkey, they go to Greece, they get into the Schengen area, they cross Europe, they wait late and get a boat. And I mean, the basis of the migration agreement, the humane migration agreement, was you claim in the first country that you go to. You claim asylum in the first country that you go to, and these people are claiming asylum in about the 10th country they're going